Alright, this is the scenario levels Temp, CH Lewis, Swamp. So this is a smoke and mirrors type scenario, just kind of testing out the swamp, scenery and level and how it's going to look. As you can see, it's just a little scene. It's not like a whole level. It seems like they did this with prefabs and early concept art to kind of get the idea for the levels they were making. But this is essentially all you have right here. It's pretty cool though. You can actually see this concept art in different images by 343. And now the concept art has been brought to life. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of these levels like this are not physical, so you just fly through. But yeah, as you can see, that's it. On to the next scenario. Alright, here is the structure, levels dev, night playground, BSP1. You could see this structure featured in the GDC 2009 showcase, showing Halo 4 and the Halo 3 engine like really early on. It was just probably reused, and this isn't even a physical version of it, so I can only fly around the map. But let's go check it out. It's pretty interesting. Fly in here. Then you got these little barriers. You got like Halo 3 looking, stuff everywhere. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, especially because you might have already seen this map before. It's really hard to fly around. It's really sensitive. But yeah, it's just a little playground where you test AI and, weapons and stuff like that. Probably how explosions interact with crates and random objects. We got over here. As you can see, but yeah, we got those rooms over there. And then just in case, got the little hallway that I went through. And you can see that it's just this room. But yeah, so you can kind of get the view of it. We got these little vehicle pads. Then, the old Forerunner blockout building. Well, it's interesting to see what's in here. Usually there's nothing. But sometimes, it's interesting. They'll have something placed and you're like, oh, what is that? But yeah, as you can see, that's pretty much it. Very simple block out. But there you go. Alright, on to the next scenario. Temp v Albedo, Halo Base. Halo Base. So as you can see, I'm just going to do a little fly through, but it's very unfinished. Not really sure what this was for besides testing. But it's pretty interesting. It is not physical, so whenever you spawn, you kind of just fall through the map, unfortunately. But yeah, we can still go check it out either ways. Looks like you got these foreigner looking side areas. And then it goes into the structure over here. And then goes over here. Got some ramps going up, something. But that's all we really got. Pretty interesting. Again, this scenario is called Halo Base. Kind of curious to see what else would be involved with this. Fly over here real quick and just see what this is. Interesting how the green is debugging the structure, showing that it's a box, but there's also some other structures, including this little thing right here, which I'm not sure what this is for, but interesting nonetheless. But yeah, that's it for this scenario. Alright, next up, this is the scenario levels temp final frontier. Final frontier. So let's check it out. As you can see, there's a huge globe. Let me teleport the player to me. You can see the scale just from zooming out and how it's hardly increasing or decreasing. So you got like almost a scale globe of the Earth, and then you have these two blocks, you know, they look like they might represent ships or something. And then you got some other spheres that could be like the moon or other planets. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm not really sure what they're planning on this, but, you know, I mean, it could be anything. It could have just been like a test to see how things would look at this scale. And all that, you know, just for their space scenarios in their game. But, yeah, it's hard to tell. I'm going to fly in one of these boxes, and then that'll be it for this clip. I don't expect anything to be in here or even outside anywhere else, also because I spawn in the middle of the air, falling to my death, like most scenarios. Makes me wonder if they'd always paused it like I do to fly around in the cam to check it out, or if they actually had a way to, you know, do stuff in here besides just what I am right now. Because usually on the other tag tests, a lot of the scenarios in the maps they had were at least full of collision, you know, and normal structure geometry. Halo 4, it seems like most of these scenarios are just boxes with some render-only instanced geometry, which is what essentially you have seen in every one of these clips so far. There are some scenarios that do have collision by default, though, so I don't know. I guess it's just something they turned off or turned on. But yeah, that's it for this scenario, the new frontier. This is the scenario levels temp, C.H. Lewis bridge test. Bridge test. Another non-physical, collidable structure, but it is pretty cool to check out like all the rest. So this is the bridge test. It, you know, reminds me of the bridge they used in the development of the game and on that one mission, as well as the Narrows bridge. Also because it just comes down and, you know, it's this little area. And then goes back up into the bridge. A lot of it's not loaded, but it will load, depending on where you're looking. But yeah, it's pretty cool, you know, just to check out this particular test they did on this bridge. Oh, and there's the MC himself, hugging the air, just like he always is. Come here, Mr. MC, give me a hug. Yay! Alright, sorry. On to the next scenario. Alright, this is the scenario environments temp. Our Anola or Ranola tortoise. Yeah. It's a non-physical one. I don't know if there's a version of this scenario that is physical. But when you actually start it, everything falls through the level and yeah, then it restarts. So I'm just gonna kind of check out this version of the huge ass tortoise mammoth. You can see that there's a lot of stuff that's just being finished on this. There's also, like, for example, this little ladder. You can climb up into here. You got this little inside area. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I can't remember exactly what the final version had, but it definitely is not final. It is surprisingly complete, though, for this version of the build. A lot of stuff in this build is very, like, unfinished and, you know, early on. So it's pretty cool to see a lot of this already masked out, textures and all that. You got, like, Gosshog, or, you know, turrets everywhere. They love the Goss turret. They put it on, like, all the test items, it seemed like. But yeah, if I show you what happens whenever the game is back to normal speed, you'll land, and then you fall, and then you die. So that's it for this scenario. On to the next one. This is the scenario environments temp. Jay Snyder, Jesse Playground. Just to show it off real quick, it's very simple. It's just a little test scenario. Not sure what it was used for, but here it is. But yeah, it's also non-physical, so things be falling. But yeah, that's it for this scenario, and on to the next one. Alright, this is the scenario. Environments temp. Joe LG, firing range. Fortunately, it's not solid, so I'm just going to show you it. Looks like he's got some eggs everywhere. Ready to fall and crack. I'm just kidding. I am curious to see how these things explode, but yeah. Not able to walk around, like I was saying. You got these random rooms with some really bright lights or something. No. But yeah, that's pretty much it for showing off this scenario. Alright, this is the scenario environments temp. PEH, Rep. Test Atrium damaged. So this is just that part of the single player mission where the composer is being stolen by the Didact and the whole entire station's blowing apart. I'm surprised they masked out and made everything look this detailed this earlier on. Because it looks pretty good though, I mean, for this early on. This build doesn't really have very much things very finished at all. So you can kind of get a good idea. I like how there's an extra room in here now. Oh, it's an extra door. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially the same almost. After it's destroyed. But yeah, there's not much to see here, to be honest. just an earlier version of that. How's it going, everyone? It's Corbin, and today I'm here with a very early version of the mission Dawn on Halo 4. So I'm just going to do a little fly-through. I have this viewing mode on so that you can see everything very clearly because it's not very lit. It's just basically a block out, and it's in the space skybox, so it's very dark. I'll show you what it looks like after I show you this part where everything is much more clear, because you can see every surface, you know, different and all that. But this will give you a better view of what the early version of this map looks like and what stayed the same. Some things did not stay the same, but that's to be expected. It is pretty interesting though. Alright, so you come through this hall over here. And this is pretty similar, if you remember. And then you go in this room right here. There normally isn't a right side unless that's like cut off in the final game, and maybe that's why I don't remember that. But yeah, then you would normally go through a center door where that big didactic beam scans you, but there was normally a center console that you could kind of look at and then go through a door in the center over here. I believe normally you would actually take a right here, but there's no right, so we gotta take a left. After that, you got these two elevators, which is very similar. It's almost like they just mirrored, you know, the actual mission. And then instead of going down the elevator shaft, you would actually, I'm not really sure. There's just another room over here, though. So here's this other room. Pretty interesting though. Makes me wonder what everything's for. But yeah, and then you got this, and then it goes on, so you can see, to up here. I'm assuming you would climb through an elevator shaft, I guess, still. But then once you finally get up here, if you come through these doors, I believe these were the doors that had the jackals right here. And then they cut this whole entire room with the trains. There's little trains in the ship for some reason. I don't know why. I guess it was a really big ship. Didn't expect trains, though. Probably recognize this room. So if you go around it, it's that circular room with the center area where you can see through glass, and there's some grunts everywhere. This is a fairly similar layout to what we got in the final mission. It's weird how the ground kind of does that, but you could see kind of what it was doing before and where it went into. It looks like this area will still lead into the outside like it did in the final mission. But there is also this little area over here that we don't want to forget about. As you can see, it's kind of interesting. But ultimately, it would still go outside where the frigate is, or, you know, where you could see everything from Requiem to the frigate falling apart, being sucked in by the eye. And you can see all the placeholder, you know, debris and stuff flying towards it, being sucked in. Different parts of the ship. At this point, there's no cruisers in this, you know, part of the mission, but you do have the missiles coming out. So it looks like the missiles were always planned. Very symmetrical still at this point. There's no real entrance or exit. So they knew what they were doing. They just didn't know like how they were gonna get there. But, you know, I guess they connected everything eventually, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. There's also some early gameplay of this mission that resembles this a little bit more than the final game, but that's a different video. I just figured I'd showcase this one separately because it is a little bit more elaborate. And just in case, I'm going to show you the normal lighting. There we go. As I was saying, it's just in space. It's kind of creepy. Whenever you look at it, different parts of it react. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it's just the angle of viewing it or what, but yeah. Anyways, just a deep space skybox. Pretty default skybox though. And these rooms are really dark, and that's why I showed you the other view. Line these extra little rooms since they have some light in them. Maybe in here too. And then we could find Chief hanging out in outer space. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this mysterious space mission view of the Dawn mission from Halo 4. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.